elbow. I fall asleep with my eyes wide, terrified. You take a photo to remember that night. We're destined to fall in love the same way. I'll bring the papers if you bring the bouquet.
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Smash the glass, whispering to screaming.
What you have to be sad about?
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Didn't realize happy wasn't healing.
What you have to be sad about?
We could have been a wedding band. Scott takes the brass and Mikey takes the strings. Instead played syllabic, pain in every decibel. Remove Christ from your temporal, but the weight in chest still stings. There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Smash the glass, whispering to screaming.
What you have to be sad about?
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Didn't realize happy wasn't healing.
What you have to be sad about?
You stitch the seams in your cardigan and you call yourself brand new. But reinvention don't work that way, it's dead in the chest.
You've been searching so many notes in cursive, and yeah, it hasn't worsened. Yes, solutions to the problem.
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Smash the glass, whispering to screaming.
What you have to be sad about?
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Didn't realize happy wasn't healing.
What you have to be sad about?
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Smash the glass, whispering to screaming.
What you have to be sad about?
There I was, a multitude of feeling.
Fresh concrete in my mouth.
Didn't realize happy wasn't healing.
What you have to be sad about?
All right, there we go. That was Fresh Concrete by Bears in Trees. This is WOBC-FM 91.5 Oberlin College and Community Radio. My name is Ellen Efstathiou, and it's okay if you can't pronounce my last name. And this is That Reminds Me, the show where I play songs that I like, more or less, and then I tell stories based on what the songs remind me of. Also, I'm going to switch the way that have my headphones on my head because the wire was like on the far side of where it's plugged in, so it was awkward. All right, so yes, as I just said, that was Fresh Concrete by Bears in Trees. This is one of those ones where the story is very tangentially, I'm capable of speech, tangentially related to the thingamadoodle. What's it called? The song. There we go. Also, by the way, there is I would call it a thunderstorm, but there is no thunder and there is no rain. There's just lightning. A lightning storm, I guess, going on right now, and it's very weird, and I was very scared when I was waiting outside to be let into the building. So, the story that I have for you right now is, as I have said many times before on this show, I did a lot of tech theater in high school. Oh my god, take a shot every time Ellen says that. This wasn't tech, this was booth, which is basically tech, but there is a key difference. It's in the morning instead of the afternoon. Why is it in the morning? Because we had assembly like almost every single day at my high school, and the morning is when booth was, which is what the tech that they do for the assembly. Now, I did assembly, technically I did assembly both my junior and senior year, but junior year, it was only in the spring, and senior year, we were online, so it wasn't really booth, exactly. And also, the spring was weird because that was the spring where 2020 happened, and the COVID happened. Have you heard of this? And so I only got a few months, technically, like doing actual booth. And this is a story from actual booth. I think I've told the story. I told the Hayden Christensen story. That's also from Booth. Well, this story is about, so the reason that I didn't do booth in the fall was because we were in a tent for assembly that semester because they were doing renovations to our auditorium where we had assembly. So we all had to be in a tent outside in the cold. This is in Massachusetts. It was cold. Okay. I was freezing not every single morning, but like a lot of mornings. Freezing cold for like 20 minutes. I mean, that's a way to wake you up in the morning, you know, freezing cold, listening to people bore you to death, talking for, 20 minutes at 8 a.m. That's one way to wake up your students, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, oh, that's what that does. Wow, the things you learn when you do things. Crazy. Okay, so... You probably didn't notice anything. I don't know. I think I got a lot louder. Is that the difference that happened? Is that what you noticed? I don't know what you noticed. I'm not you. Oh dear ears of corn that are listening. I am not you. I am not an ear of corn. Unfortunately. So, what was I saying? Yes. So, one of the new things that they did for, in the new assembly space was they put windows in. You do not put windows in a performance space. And one day, the architects came because they wanted to take pictures of this, wonderful space that they had created. And they were like, can we make it darker in here so we can take better pictures? And we were like, no, we cannot make it darker because you put windows in a performance space. That's on you, buddy. But anyways, one of the new changes was that there were cameras in the auditorium, and we could use the cameras, and we could live stream. Sure, we'll say live stream. We could live stream the cameras directly into the projector. If anyone projected videos, we could do that. And so I was in charge of projections that day. That was my job. We had lighting, we had sound, we had video, I guess. I don't know. And we had projections. Video and projections worked very closely together. And we had, the people moving stuff, actually on set, if people were, playing the guitar or something and we had to move microphones out. But I was on projections, and we had, the, student council sort of thingy had planned to do an announcement or whatever, but they wanted to make it fun. So we were like, we can use the cameras, and live stream it. And nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that these cameras were there. Sorry about the squeaky chair. Nobody knew that the cameras were there. And I was in charge of it. So I knew that as soon as I clicked the button and it got projected, everyone would be like, whoa, the projection. It's what's happening. That's so cool. And sure enough, when we got to that point in the assembly where I turned on the camera and it projected onto the projection, onto the screen, and it was what was happening currently. Everyone gasped, and I felt so elated. I was riding that emotional high for the rest of the day. It was fantastic. So, 10 out of 10 experience. If you ever get to do something like that, I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Did you hear me say highly recommend it? I noticed that my computer had gone to sleep, which is why I turned away. I turned away again just then, but did you know? I don't know, because I wasn't talking. All right, we have another song now. Bum, bum, ba.
I can't believe we're finally alone. I can't believe I almost went home. What are the chances? Everyone's dancing and he's not with you. The universe must have defined this. What am I gonna do? Not grab your wrist. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus all my clothes would fit. I could be a better boyfriend. I don't need to tell you twice all the ways you can't suffice. If I could give you some advice, I would leave with me tonight. The universe must have defined it. Ladies first, baby, I insist. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus all my clothes would fit. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could be a better boyfriend. I never would have left you alone. Here on your own, glued to your phone. Never would have left you alone for someone else to take you home. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit. I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus, you know my clothes would fit. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus, all my clothes would fit.
Ooh, what did I do? There we go. That was Boyfriend by Dove Cameron. I love the era that she is doing right now. Sorry about the noise from me moving the microphone. What was that I love the era that she's doing. What does that mean? That was a weird sentence. I apologize for that. Anyways, this is another story about tech. I have so many stories about tech. That's the only thing I do with my life, apparently, is tech. And I don't even want to do that for my job. I want to be a writer for my job when I grow up. Well, technically, I am grown up. Technically, I'm an adult. That is weird. Every time I'm at a club and they're like, we're all adults here. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm an adult. I'm 18. That's so weird. Anyways, this story is about an 18-plus club. Oh, burlesque. Woo, the best, the sexiest club on campus. Hell yeah. Am I allowed to say hell yeah? I don't even know what I'm allowed to say. Anyways, so in the fall, I signed up for the salsa club. I did not actually sign up for burlesque. I signed up for SALSA, which is Student Lighting and Sound Association, I think is what it, I think that's, yeah. And so at the beginning of the year, they were, sending out emails for, does anyone want to do lighting for this show? Does anyone want to do sound for this show? And one of the emails that they sent out was, does anyone want to do lighting for burlesque? And I was like, and like, if you like need to learn how to use the light board, like, feel free to ask, like, whatever. And I was like, okay then. So, I responded to this email like a day later. So I was like, oh, I'm probably like not gonna get it, but like at least I'm showing that I'm interested in this stuff. So I was like, I sent an email and I was like, oh yeah, I'm interested. I do need someone to show me how to use the light board though. Yeah, not expecting to get it. And then I got it. I got the gig and I was like, oh, because, before I went to the dress rehearsal for burlesque, my only point of reference for like what burlesque was the SNL sketch from when Kit Harington hosted. That was my only frame of reference for what burlesque is. And, obviously that's not like a very good indicator of what burlesque is. But I showed up and I was like, okay, what is burlesque? And, they were doing their burlesque stuff and I was doing my little lighting stuff over in the corner because burlesque happens at the Cat and the Cream and the lighting is not too great. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's fine. It's very simple. I will give it credit for that. It's very simple lighting. Like, the lighting board is very easy to use and all that. And I did have a moment of shock when the first person to take their shirt off in the dress rehearsal and they just had pasties on, and I was like, oh, that's how far this goes. That was a fun surprise for me. Also, Oberlesk is happening this Friday. Friday? Yeah, Friday. So come out and see that. By the way, this is WOBC FM 91.5 Oberlin College and Community Radio. Yes, and now, guess what? What? It's time for a PSA and for a bunch of noise as I move my computer around so I can look at the PSA better. Oberlin Heritage Center History Walks, May. Valid until the 28th of May, 2022. Architecture History Walk, every Saturday in May at 11 a.m. Find out how the landscape, college campus, and town developed over its 180-plus years on a 60-minute walking tour of Oberlin. Learn which architectural styles prevailed, which were criticized by the community. I wonder if that's the front of the Wurzel building. And how several renowned architects came to work in Oberlin. You can register online or by calling 440-774-1700. Adults are $6, children, students, members, free. How fun. So don't be an adult and go on this tour. If you're not an adult, do go on the tour. So yeah, now it is time for another song. Yay!
Sucked out by the sea. Sugar coma leaves me blind, sinking into velvet night. Give me just one kiss before I'm washed up on the shore. Leave me limbless, swept out by the flood. Let me swallow sugar for my blood. Sugar coma leaves me blind, sinking into velvet night. Give me just one kiss before I am washed up on the shore. Sugar coma leaves me blind, sinking into velvet night. Give me just one kiss before I am washed up on the shore. Give me just one kiss before I
All right, that was Sugar Coma by, let me check, by the Dream Eaters. That's an oh, I forgot to write that down in the little thingy on the radioactivity thing. Whoops, I'll do it next one. Yes, so indeed, Sugar Coma. Coma, I've never been in a coma, but I've been close. Not really, but that's what my story is about. So over the summer, as I have said many times before, I worked at a YMCA as a lifeguard. And the thing about the YMCA is that there's not just the lifeguards, there's a bunch of other people too, which is certainly something. Other people are something, very much something. So part of this, what part of it? I don't know what I'm saying. You know, I had coffee like 3 hours ago, and my brain, it didn't like latch onto the coffee. Like, I don't particularly feel more energized. I do feel like I want to crack my neck though, which sometimes coffee does that to me, which is weird, and I don't know why it does that. Anywho, so one day, on a Saturday, I'm pretty sure it was, my Saturdays were my 8-hour shift. Saturdays and Sundays, I think both of those were 8-hour shifts for me most days. And, because the other days that I worked there were not 8-hour shifts. They were like 5, maybe. Like, if even. And usually they were closing shifts, which I appreciated because I do not like waking up early. Anyways, though, I came in on a Saturday to work my shift. However, someone in another part of the YMCA, in the gym, in fact, did not come in for their shift. So we usually had at least 2 lifeguards. Saturdays especially, we really only had 2 lifeguards because, like, no one wants to work on a Saturday. Except me. I'm kidding. Other people do want to work. Whatever, this doesn't matter. Anyways, also, again, apologies for the chairs. I will complain about it again and again. The chairs are so squeaky. It is so unnecessary. Please stop the squeaking of the chairs. That is my petition to WOBC. Thank you very much for listening to my petition-y thing. So anyways, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so someone in the gym didn't come in to do their job. Dun dun dun. And in fact, that dun 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 is warranted because the other person who was lifeguarding with me had to not lifeguard and go and do their job for them. So that meant that I was on my own in the pool for 8 hours. I mean, I did get a 30-minute break because if you work for 8 hours, you have to have a 30-minute break. Like, that is the law. Or is that the law? I think it's the law. So I did get that 30-minute break. But other than that, I was just there for like 30 minutes straight. My brain was so fried and bored and just bleh by the end of that. I mean, Saturdays already are bad enough because I think we open at like 7 a.m. And I am not a morning person. I do not like the morning. I like being asleep in the morning is what I like. But I had to be awake in the morning, and I had to be making sure that people weren't dying, you know? That's a lot of brain power. But anyways, so I was there alone, and I was very bored, and I already don't like lifeguarding because it's very boring. I mean, it shouldn't be boring because you need to be, like, alert and stuff, but it is boring. I'm afraid that it is boring. Don't go swimming if you don't know how to swim. That is my advice to anybody that wants to swim, but can't. Don't, unless you're in a swim lesson learning how to swim, or you have a life jacket on. Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. That was a very short story. I feel like I should make it longer. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not going to be able to fill the time. Not that I'm not going to have enough time. I'm not going to be able to fill the time. And that would be a terrible thing. However, as I was bored during that time, I'm also a little bit bored now telling this story because there's not much substance to it, you know what I mean? So, I'm going to play another song. Are you happy about that? Do you like the decision that I've made? I hope that you like the decision I've made. Ooh, the next story is going to be a good one. Okay, here we go.
I lost myself during my ride into the city on the bus. I caught my eyes locked in that comfortable position of falling in love. If I could, I would drink my troubles down the drain, but I don't wanna drink alone today. I'll drop the act of adolescence and I'll play a new part. I'll try to find where my voice went and I'll stop breaking my own heart. I'll laugh along, I'll sing the songs you wanna hear. Let me in, let me near. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. I found myself faking a smile and making time to shake a hand for a living. I dropped my mind somewhere on the one line and didn't realize till I cried on Thanksgiving. The seasons change, the reasons always stay the same. I still have so many songs to name. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. Maybe it's a memory, or I read it in a magazine, but I swear I'd see your faces staring up at me. Or maybe this song is self-aware, and I'm singing here and you're standing there waiting for the show to go on. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. Whoa. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there. Honestly, it's a shit show, my God, but it's this show I want to be there.
All right, that was Shit Show by Peter McPoland. You know, I think I'm actually not allowed to say the title of that, but it's okay. Don't tell on me, okay? Please, I'm just a little guy. Don't tell on me that I said a bad word. By the way, this is WOBC-FM 91.5, Oberlin College and Community Radio, and I'm not telling you my name so that you can tattle on me. If you weren't listening, if you weren't here at the beginning, then you can't know it now. Thank you. All right, so that was the song that I just said that it was by Peter McPoland. And guess what? The name of that song, very apt to what I am about to tell you about. So in ninth grade, in the spring of ninth grade, one of the rare times that I did not do tech for the theater, I just did, what did I do? I acted for the theater instead of teching. Very strange of me to do, I know. You're confused. Did my evil twin kill me? I do not know. But anyways, I was acting. Yay. And it was in a play called Men on Boats. Now, this play isn't particularly good, but it's, that's okay. Not everything has to be good. It's okay for some things to be bad. That's my message here today. Thank you very much. Now, the play itself was like, mediocre, not particularly great. But the thing that really made this experience not great was our director. I'm not going to name names, but he knows who he is. So our director did not have a good sense of time management. And also, another thing. So the play Men on Boats is about men who are on boats. It's about an expedition along the Colorado River, like through the Grand Canyon, before the Grand Canyon, like to and through the Grand Canyon, by this group of like government sanctioned men to do it. And, like, the like, thing of the play is that these were all, like, cis white men, and the characters in the play should be played by anyone who is not a cis white man, is basically it. And so we were doing that. I am not a cis white man. I mean, I am white, but I am not a cis man. Or a man. What was it? Oh my god, I keep losing my train of thought by going on these tangents. I really need to stop going on tangents. So another thing, the fact that we're on boats, the thing is, in real life, when you are rowing a boat, your back faces the direction that you're going. Your back faces the front of the boat, and you essentially are going back, like you can't see. And then they'll have like someone in the back of the boat who is looking forwards, and they'll be using an oar to steer. But the people like actually propelling the boat cannot see where they're going generally. Again, apologies for the squeaky I mean, I can't do anything about. I mean, I could go out and buy like grease or something, but I'm not going to do that. I will lodge a formal complaint. No, I won't. So that is like what happens in real life. But this is the theater. We don't have to replicate exact life. We can dramatize it. That sort of a thing. However, our director, and also, by the way, if you look up Men on Boats, like if you look up clips from Men on Boats on YouTube, you'll find some like promotional material from like various professional productions, and they all face forward and they row like you would row a canoe rather than a rowboat. They're facing forward, they're paddling. Our director, however, decided that we were going to be historically accurate. So we had our butts facing the audience for like half the play, because this play, it just alternates between scenes where they're on the river rowing and scenes where they're eating dinner and talking. Like, that's the whole play. It's just rowing, dinner, rowing, dinner, rowing, dinner for like 90 minutes or however long it is. So literally half the play, we had our backs to the audience, which meant that every single time that we had a line, because, the audience is supposed to see your face. That's why all the professional productions rowed like they were rowing a canoe. The audience needs to see your face, and also you need to project your voice towards the audience so they can hear you. But since we were facing backwards, we had to turn around every single time we had a line. So we weren't even sitting on anything, by the way. We were just, like, doing squats, like perpetual squats. My legs got so strong during that play. Just perpetual, like squatting in midair. And every time we had a line, we had to rotate our body around to go, rocks! I see rocks! Again, half the play is on the water when we're rowing. Why did our director decide to do this? This was a terrible decision. Why? What was he doing? What was the purpose? Was it just to make us feel miserable? I have no idea. But also, he had terrible time management skills, and so that meant that we didn't block, like, the entire play until, like, a couple of days before we started doing tech rehearsals. For those who don't know what tech rehearsals are, it's when the techies and the actors merge for the first time, and you go through the play super slowly, and they put in all the lighting cues, and they make sure that like the deckhands know when they need to bring certain props out, and all of that sort of thing. Apologies for my throat clearing. And the squeaky chair again. I mean, the solution to the squeaky chair is really just me not moving. And I know that I say that every week, but I'm a very movie person when movie person because I want to major in cinema studies, but I'm also very like mobile when I am talking because I like to express myself. So, as I was saying, we didn't finish blocking till like a couple days before. And, you know, I was like, I mean, all of us were a tad bit concerned about this, but I voiced my concerns to the director at the end of one of our rehearsals, and I went, tomorrow, are we going to block the last scene that we haven't blocked yet? And he was like, yep, we're going to do that. So then the next day, at the beginning of rehearsal, he was like, also we're going to block this scene because Ellen yelled at me yesterday. And I was like, I did not yell at you. Like, we were standing across the room from each other, so like I was projecting my voice, but I didn't yell at him. I am telling you, I did not yell at him. I feel like that guy in the room. I did not do it. I did not yell. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. That was a terrible impression. I mean, I wasn't going for like a good impression, but still, that was absolutely awful. Oh my god, I'm so sorry you had to hear that. So yeah, that. So there was that. And then we had 4 performances. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Those were our performance days. So we did our performance on Wednesday. The next day, we were supposed to have our next performance on Thursday, but we couldn't. Why, you ask? Well, I shall tell you why. Because Kenny from the fire department came in to check whether we were fire safe or not, and apparently we were not, because we had our stage, and then we also had a what's it called? It's not called a jut out, but that's basically what it is. You know, we had an extension. Is that the word? I don't think that is the word, but that's essentially what we had. We had an extension to the stage, made entirely out of wood, like, and it was very safe, do not worry, but because it jutted out off of the stage, it was a fire safety hazard because the sprinkler system, like, wouldn't be able to cover it or something, which doesn't make any sense because it was already covering that section, but apparently it wasn't good enough. So that day, the techies, I feel so bad for the techies. They spent all that time building that, and then they had to tear it all down and get rid of it. And then they had to, you know, like rebuild it, but they couldn't build it on the jut out, so they just had it like on the stage, but like still in the shape of the jut out. So there were just like sections that were just kind of like weird. It was very weird. I mean, it wasn't really that weird. I'm just explaining it badly and weirdly, but it did actually make sense in the context. And so that Thursday afternoon, instead of our director, instead of having us, you know, reblock the show because the stage was going to look different, we just did like more character work, which we didn't need to do. Like, we had done so much character work at that point. And, like, he had me and 2 other people go outside and, like, carry a ladder around like we were carrying a boat to, like, work on our carrying skills. I don't really know. So that was fun. That was certainly an interesting time. For sure. Anyways, that was my rant about the play I acted in 9th grade 4 years ago. Here's another song.
Got a hole in this pocket, a scar no one's seen. His heart's in the locket, got an ace of his sleeve. like a recurring dream. News you've been hearing is your own sideways grin. Caught you by surprise when it's time to begin. So fly high as you can go, and don't hold back. The world is finally ready for your wave to crash. Just fly high as you can go, and don't hold back. To shine everything you know, only you can. Stand your ground up on your feet. Song will cleanse all enemies. The only one you must defeat is you. Hope one day we'll see, like waiting for spring. This world has been waiting to wake up to you.
All right, that was. I keep saying all right, like when I introduce every single song. That was Hole in Your Pocket by Heartstrings Stereo. Fun little song. We actually rejected their like album from the vault, but I like their music. I liked it, you know, so I'm playing it here. Ha 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 ha. You can't defeat me. Thingamadoodle? What's it called? WOBC Vault? I don't know. By the way, this is, in fact, WOBC FM 91.5, Oberlin College and Community Radio. And I have a PSA. Woot woot, PSA. I love PSAs. Kind of. For the WOBC pool party. Woot woot. This is valid until the 19th of May, 2022. I think, well, yeah, that's because it's happening on the 19th. It is open to anyone with an OCID. The WOBC pool party is happening Thursday, May 19th, between 5 and 7 p.m. at the Car Pool. That's car with 2 R's. There will be music, movies, and maybe even fun. Quite possibly, there will be fun. You know, we can't be certain for sure, but there possibly will be fun. So, hey, that's something. As I said before, that was Hole in Your Pocket by Heartstrings Stereo. And guess what? I have a song not about a hole in my pocket, but about a different thing. You know, Hole in My Pocket really makes me think of the Polar Express, because I watched the 15-minute version of Polar Express at Jordan's Furniture on the 3D, like, movie theater experience thingy so many times as a kid. I actually thought that that was the full version, and then when I saw the actual full version, I was very confused. Anyways, that's not what this story is about. That's just a completely tangential, you know, side note. So, what the actual story is about is also from 9th grade. Wow, 9th grade is a theme today. Not really, only 2 stories. But yes, so in 9th grade, I had a very interesting English teacher. His name was Mr. Burr. Also with 2 R's, like car and carpool. Burr with 2 R's. I think that might be how all burrs are spelled, though, actually. Like, you know, burrs that, like, stick to your clothes because they have the little hooks on them. I think those actually might also have 2 R's. So all burrs have 2 R's. So yeah, he was a very interesting English teacher, and for a variety of reasons that perhaps I will tell you about on future, I was about to call this an episode, future days of WOBC. I don't know what that was. That was a weird sentence. Anyways, so one day he was telling us about his friend who had written a book. And he had, like, recently met up with the friend, and the friend had agreed to give him a copy of his book with the like agreement that my teacher, Mr. Burr, would give a review for the book because, and I mean, on a side note, I have heard that that's like very helpful for like emerging authors. This was like a very intellectual book, and also I don't think it was his first book. I could be totally wrong about that though. But like it's good for books to get reviews, like that helps with sales and that sort of a thing. So, what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was... Oh, yeah, so he was telling us about his friend's book, and while he was... So he was standing, like, sort of behind and to the side of me at the, like, TV screen where he was showing us his review. And he was reading off the screen, reading us his review, and I noticed that next to me, a water bottle had fallen on the floor. And so I reached down to pick it up, and... To say that I fell out of my chair is an understatement. Me and the chair both just like, whoop, sideways. Like, I did not fall out of the chair. Both me and the chair fell. Totally on our side. And every single because the teacher was slightly behind and slightly to the side of me, everyone was already looking in this direction. So every single person in the class noticed, except for my teacher. He went on reading, and because I had fallen out of my chair and was thusly embarrassed about that, I was like, oh, I better get up real quick. So I got up as quick as I could, and, you know, I was up and, like, acting like everything was normal, and everyone else was like, oh my god, are you okay? What happened? And, like, laughing. And the teacher did not notice. To this day, I'm sure that he does not know what happened. To him, he was just reading his review, and then all of a sudden there was a disturbance, and he was like, what? And he doesn't know what caused the disturbance. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? Suddenly, a disturbance. What do we do? I will tell you one other interesting tidbit about this guy, about Mr. Burr, Chris Burr, to be exact. If you want to look him, I mean, don't look him up. That would be weird and creepy, but, like, that is his full name. Am I allowed to say full? I don't know. Maybe that was against my judgment to say his full name. But anyways, very interesting guy. I would read a biography about him, or an autobiography about him, or a memoir book by him, about him, whatever. I don't know. Interesting guy. Lots of cool stories. Another story that I have about him is that he would, to fix the projector in the room, he would stand on the table in socks, and he was like 60, 65, like... You know, like, he was still, like, in good shape and all, but still, like, 60 to 65, and he's standing on, like, a slippery table in socks to fix the projector, and we're all like, oh my god, like, please don't fall. It was absolutely terrifying as a student, needless to say. I think he's definitely, like, the most, like, interesting teacher that I've had. Not necessarily interesting in the way that he taught, because we learned the Odyssey that year, or we read the Odyssey. We didn't learn the Odyssey. We read the Odyssey that year, and it was very boring, and I didn't enjoy it. And yeah, just I mean, I'm sure it's like an interesting story and all, but just like the way that we learned about it was so boring. I was so bored. I was so sick of the rosy-fingered Dawn by the end. Also, he really hyped up... We read Macbeth that year, and he really hyped up Lady Macbeth. And my favorite Shakespeare character, because I believe that he is the best Shakespeare character, is Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet. So I was like, yes, Lady Macbeth is, like, awesome. She's going to be the next Mercutio for me. I cannot wait. And then I felt a little bit let down. But that's just because Mercutio is the best. Mercutio is, in fact, fantastic. Love Mercutio. My favorite version of Romeo and Juliet... We read Romeo and Juliet in 8th grade, and then we read Macbeth in 9th grade. My favorite version of Romeo and Juliet that I've seen... And I've only seen 2, by the way, and not even, like, the full ones. But my favorite was the newer one by Baz Luhrmann, directed by Baz Luhrmann. That's got, like, Leonardo DiCaprio and someone else in it. I don't know. Again, this chair is so squeaky, and I'm so sorry, and it's so annoying. I know it must be annoying. I know that I would be annoyed if I was listening to this. Maybe I would be more annoyed, though, by me being, like, me and talking like this. I don't know. Anyways... I think that it is in fact time, for another song. I went on a lot of tangents because I was trying to use up time. But now we can listen to another song, which is I Know What You Want to Hear instead of my voice. Maybe not, that was rude to myself. Anyways, song time!